Baltimore Ravens. I struggle with this one. There's a lot of important players. I think Malachi Starks is the most interesting one to me, though, because I was obviously insanely high on Malachi Starks. I mean, probably the best safety that I've scouted since Kyle Hamilton. And he came out, and obviously Kyle Hamilton's been insane in the NFL. So those two guys next to each other, I'm more just like, I want to see what it looks like. I'm super excited to see those two. I was very high on Ardarius Washington coming out too. And so I want to see where he kind of slots in to this defense, because I think he's good enough, or was good enough a year ago, to still warrant a spot in your starting lineup. So that's kind of a roundabout way of saying multiple different guys, but let's just say Malachi Starks is my most important player.
I'm not sure which national park houses Old Faithful. It's a geyser in Wyoming. It might not
Yellowstone?
be Yellowstone. Okay, Old Faithful. It's a geyser. And you know what? It's amazing because that thing just billows steam and water out of it all the time. It never stops. And you know what? I'm sure at some point in time, the first men and women saw it and they were like, I wonder when this thing's going to stop. And they just waited around until they died because it didn't stop. And then it got the name Old Faithful because you just have faith that it's going to keep going. Which leads me to my next name, Derrick Henry. Okay. Derrick Henry is Old Faithful. If Derrick Henry does stop, producing water for this offense, then the entire complexity and confusion of the Ravens offense is in the hands of Lamar Jackson. I think he's capable of, weathering that storm. I think he's that great of a quarterback. But man, oh man, if Derrick Henry's not part of this offense, if he doesn't have the same production that he's had in years past, it's going to look a lot different.
Derrick Henry also is 31 years old. He has, over the course of his career, led the NFL in carries 4 different times. He has 2,355 career rushing attempts. In college, he led college football in rushing attempts his final year of college. 395 attempts in one season. He had 602 career rushing attempts. And then in high school, let me find his high school stats.
20,000 carries.
His high school stats were out of this world. He had, in high school, 1,397 career rushing attempts, 462 his senior year. So you add all that up. He has over 4,350 rushing attempts in his lifetime.
And 4, that's just the games. He did 1,000 a week in all those games for practice.
Dude, and the fact that he is still one of the best of all time.
We need to make him a national park.
He is.
Derrick Henry is a national park.
He has a long way to go, though. You want to guess the most carries in NFL history? Who holds it? You should be able to get that, but how many it is?
The most carries in an NFL career?
Yes.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. You want to guess a number?
Emmitt Smith, let's say 2,200.
4,409. Dude, he has almost 600 more carries than anyone else in NFL history. That's outlandish. So at Henry's current pace, I don't think he can realistically catch him. He's 2,000 behind him. 2,000 would be 6 straight 300-yard seasons. It's insane how much they used to run the football back in the day. But if anyone could,
cool concepts.
If anyone could, I think Derrick Henry definitely could.
Ashton Genty.
Genty might. He had a lot of touches last year. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's just, dude, let's be real. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's not on the roster technically, but it's Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
All right, we can go quick. We've talked enough about Rodgers. Let's get to the Cincinnati Bengals. I went Amarius Mims.
Huge.
I think he actually exceeded my expectations as a rookie. He wasn't good, right? I didn't expect him to be good. He was not. He barely played football. He was the guy who his collegiate career didn't even have a single full season as a starter at Georgia. He had a bunch of injuries, but 297 snaps last year, 385 the year before that, 803 career total snaps. He was the first offensive lineman to have that few snaps when he was drafted since Ryan Ramczyk, and Ramczyk was a unique case in that he only played 1 year of Division I football. So Amarius Mims is inexperienced as they come, but he wasn't terrible down the stretch. He only allowed 2 pressures his final 4 games in the Cincinnati Bengals uniform. Now, some of those they rotated him in and out, but dude, I don't know. I think if he turns into the guy that you thought he was going to be, and he has all world talent, like the guy is so physically gifted. If he turns into a Pro Bowl type of tackle this year, this Bengals team, man, still never had a good offensive line. If they have a good offensive line this year, they can get back to the promised land.
I have my eyes. I mean, every time you watch the Bengals or the Bengals are on, I just rave about their offense. I'm obsessed with the offense, but I am obsessed with the Bengals defense. And obviously with Al Golden in town, there's going to be new messaging for a lot of these defensive guys. And Trey Hendrickson, that stuff looms large, but it's that interior part of the defensive line. Slayton Hill, Chris Jenkins. I need all these guys to step up because stopping the run is going to be paramount because teams are going to be trying to play keep away from Joe Burrow. If you can't stop the run, you get into these holes and they can do so much else offensively against your defense. It's got to come from that inside 3. And whoever those guys are that are rotating. I know BJ Hill is going to be still banged up for a bit.
All right, Cleveland Browns. I went with Michael Hall Jr. Obviously, in the quarterbacks. Pick your poison. But I went with Michael Hall Jr., the second-round pick from a year ago, who obviously was sidelined to start the year with a domestic violence incident, which, seems par for the course of the Browns at this point. But the guy is unbelievably talented. One of the biggest physical freaks in last year's class. You're like 4.7, 540 coming out of Ohio State. One of the reasons he fell was, though, off field. Did not get a clean bill of approval from the Ohio State coaching staff. Ohio State coaching staff would not vouch for him coming out of Ohio State. And
that's crazy, by the way.
Round.
The NFL calls you. The NFL calls your place. Hello, this is Tommy from Ohio State. Yeah, we want to know about Mike Hall. Click.
Yeah. Basically said, yeah, we're not going to say draft him. So that's what happened with him. Fell the second round. Obviously, he's turned out to be, I don't say correct, but came so much to fruition early on his rookie season. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. Hopefully he's got his head on straight. But when you watch him play football, man, the guy can get after it. He is explosive as hell. He had 16 pressures on 162 pass rushing snaps a season ago. I think he can be a real impact interior defensive lineman. He's only 20 years old when he was drafted. He's still super young. So there's a lot of developmental potential there. And you put him now next to Mason Graham, and I think that D-line could be sick once again. But it comes out to Mike Hall making the leap.
I know Myles Garrett's going to show up. So I wrote down Mason Graham. And next to it, I said, if you want to make a statement and swing things for your franchise, you need the rookie to show up and bite in the face. I need Mason Graham to show up and bite people's faces off because that will be the identity of this football team, that defensive front. And if you've got an identity and that identity resides in the front 7, you got a good football team regardless of what the hell's going on around you.
Yeah. I mean, Chip Schwartz ain't going to blitz much. He wants his front 4 to be dominant. He's going to put him in situations to be dominant.
Bully ball.
Didn't have the horses to do so a year ago.